Can you build a €1 billion grocery store chain? And how Rimi did it. Imagine building a grocery store chain so successful that it makes over €1 billion every year. Now picture this doing it in a region where competition is strong and global giants like Lidl and Maxima are dominating. I find it both inspiring and intimidating. Today, we'll uncover the story of Rimi Baltic, a grocery chain that not only survived in the tough market, but actually became one of the most powerful retail players in the Baltics. Let's see how they did it. Our story begins in 2004. The Baltics, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania had just joined the European Union the same year. Economies were booming and new opportunities were everywhere. This was the perfect time for ICA Gruppen, a Swedish retail giant, to expand beyond the Nordic borders. But why the Baltics? First, let's understand ICA Gruppen. It's one of Sweden's largest retail companies, known mainly for its chain of grocery stores. ICA was founded in 1938 and uses something called a franchising model. This means that instead of one big company running all the stores, individual people or families own and operate the store. They will use the ICA name and follow the company's rules, and in return, ICA Gruppen, which is the main company, supports them with things like products, advertising, and advice. It's like being part of a big team but still having your own business. By 2004, ICA had established a strong base in Sweden and Norway, operating over 2,000 stores, starting with small express stores and ending with large hypermarkets, all together serving millions of customers weekly. In addition to retail, ICA Gruppen was also running a big real estate business that generated them 250 million in 2021 alone, and also managing bank services under ICA Banken. ICA Gruppen revenue altogether at the time was surpassing 8 billion annually in Sweden alone. So what made the Baltics so attractive? In the early 90s, when the Soviet Union fell and the Baltic country became independent, they started reforming their economies, which led to fast growth. After Baltics joined the European Union and opened their markets to international players, there were a lot of small businesses in the grocery retail, which meant that there was a room for bigger players to take charge and kind of dominate the market, right? ICA saw an opportunity to replicate its success by entering Baltics, a market geographically close to Sweden and culturally familiar, and with a developing middle class seeking modern retail experience from the West. However, competing with local heavyweights like Maxima, who had been around for 7 years already, meant ICA had to invest heavily in infrastructure, branding, and strategic partnerships. This led to a creation of Rimi Baltic, a partnership between ICA and Finnish company Kesko. What is Kesko? Kesko has been in the region since the 1990s and know the market locally very good and well. By working with Kesko, Rimi could use their existing supply connections and warehouse right away. This helped Rimi to save time, money, while making sure their stores had everything customers needed. Thanks to this partnership, Rimi was able to grow faster and compete better with other grocery chains in the region. I'm planning to have some coffee, but you might be wondering, how did Kesko know the Baltic market so well? After the fall of Soviet Union, the Baltics became an important focus for Finnish companies like Kesko. Because they were close to Finland, Kesko first started working in the Baltics by opening cash and carry outlet, which are like big warehouse stores where small business owners, like people who run shops or a cafe, can buy large amounts of products at lower prices. Kesko also runs wholesale services, which means they sold goods directly to other businesses instead of selling them to regular shoppers. For example, they might supply boxes of candy or milk to local grocery stores so those stores could sell them to customers. By doing this, Kesko learned a lot about what products people in the Baltics like, how much things should cost, and how to get the products to stores quickly and cheaply. With all of this previous experience, Kesko's involvement helped Rimi Baltics leverage local experience and regional presence, allowing for smoother market entry and expansion. And yeah, this coffee is pretty good, by the way. Yes, the Baltics countries were small, but they were growing fast. Since entering the European Union, it meant better trade and more investments. And for companies like ICA, this was the perfect chance to bring their expertise in retail to new markets. So they created Rimi Baltics to compete with the regional biggest players like Maxima. At the time, Rimi entered the Baltic market in 2004. Maxima was already dominating in the region. By then, Maxima had over 350 stores across Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. It had established itself as the largest retailer in the Baltics, serving a significant share of the population. In Lithuania alone, Maxima accounted for approximately 50% of the grocery retail market. Rimi didn't dip its toes into the market. They jumped straight in. In just a few years, they opened dozens of stores across Baltics. To give an example, by 2004, Rimi Baltic had over 50 stores in the region. This aggressive start was risky, but it worked. At the time, companies like Lidl entered the scene. In fact, the German multi-billion euro retailer Lidl entered the Baltic market nearly a decade later, opening its first store in Lithuania in 2016, followed by expansion to Latvia in 2021 and Estonia in the next year after. In 2023, Lidl's revenue reached 167.2 billion euros. That's just wild, if you want to ask me, you know, like that's a lot of money. This number basically puts them as one of the top 3 biggest super chain market chains in the entire continent. As Lidl expanded rapidly in the Baltics, the question remains, will Rimi continue to hold the top spot, or will Lidl catch up and surpass them? I guess time will tell. But now back to how Rimi entered the Baltics so quickly. This strategy is called market penetration. Instead of waiting to slowly grow, Rimi made sure they were the first big brand in major cities and towns. Their red logo was everywhere. They even strategically placed stores in busy areas where people worked or commuted, making Rimi hard to ignore. I think it's a smart move, basically, right? Putting your shops where people are. Makes sense. Rimi's biggest competitors, Maxima, had strong base in the Baltics. By the end of 2022, Maxima operated over 1,200 stores in these countries, including franchisees. Maxima's strategy was simple: low price, wide reach, but to compete with Maxima, Rimi had to be smarter, not cheaper. Instead of copying Maxima's model, Rimi went for quality over quantity. They focused on creating premium shopping experience with cleaner shops, better customer service, and exclusive products. One great example of this is Rimi Klets, a section of their stores dedicated to local designers and crafters. This wasn't just grocery shopping, but it was an experience on its own. I have to say, I love this approach because it shows that this is more than just competing on price tags. Rimi realized that consumers are increasingly looking for more than just basic products. They want experiences that resonate with their personal values and preferences. Like you, right? You also like nice stuff, right? Who doesn't like nice stuff? One of Rimi's biggest strengths is how they manage their products, what's called the supply chain. Think of this like, instead of treating each store like its own business, Rimi works as one big team. They buy in bulk for all of their stores, saving millions every year. For example, rather than one store ordering 500 loads of bread, Rimi's central system orders 50,000 loaves for the whole region. By purchasing products for all stores across the region, they can negotiate better deals with suppliers, which helps reduce costs. These savings are then passed to the consumer in the form of lower prices for the products they buy. In my opinion, this for sure is a big reason for their success. This, how they operate and think in these bigger volumes, is just one of the strategic things that I think they're doing to beat their competition. And this also is how they actually negotiate with the suppliers so they can actually get super good prices, because that's also how they make profit, right? They negotiate with manufacturers, with producers or crafters, the best deal for themselves, because they kind of want to work with Rimi, because Rimi can sell your product and also can sell premium products, not just a lower cheapest cheapest cost product. And Rimi also, as a more premium option, focuses on the consumers. Delivering products isn't just good enough. It needs to have an experience. You need to have a variety. The consumers also, the pattern of how we buy things change. It evolves. This is a thing that made them also successful in the Baltics and beyond. Now, let me share some things that they did regarding development of the business. In 2020, Rimi made their warehouses smarter by using machines and technology, such as mobile robots that can move around the warehouse, taking products and bringing them to human workers. These robots were doing like human labor. This helped them to save 20% of the cost of running their warehouse, and as a result, they could deliver things faster and make fewer mistakes, making their whole operation run more smoothly and efficiently. But here's another example. In 2016, Rimi wasn't just a grocery store, but it was an online powerhouse. They launched their e-store when customers could shop from home and have groceries delivered straight to their doorstep. At the time, this was considered a groundbreaking decision, as online grocery shopping was still in early stages. In many countries, especially in the Baltics, most people were still used to going to physical stores, and the concept of having groceries delivered to you wasn't adopted, and not many people used it or were open to this idea. But this decision gave them a significant advantage when COVID-19 pandemic hit in 2020. The pandemic dramatically changed the consumer behavior, with more people opting for online shopping. Because let's be real, the government didn't let you go outside, right? So what you can do, right? What you can do. And here's a cool fact. By 2022, online sales made up 15% of Rimi's total revenue, compared to just 5% in 2018. And here's another thing they did. In 2007, Rimi decided to take the Super Netto under Rimi's management, but still keep the Super Netto name. Rimi did it to expand its market reach and attract more price-sensitive consumers without losing its premium brand image. Super Netto was a discount chain, so by managing it, Rimi could offer more affordable options to shoppers who were more focused on lower prices. This allowed Rimi to compete in the discounted segment while maintaining a strong reputation for quality in the premium segment. But then, a couple years later, Rimi was like, no, we're gonna drop and retire this Super Netto name. Let's talk numbers. Today, Rimi Baltics operates over 314 stores across the Baltics and employs 15,000 people. In 2020, they achieved their highest net income, making 1.39 billion a year. That's net income. Their parent company, ICA Gruppen, views the Baltics as one of their most profitable regions. There's a reason why, 1.39 billion, that's quite a lot of money. So, can you build a billion-euro grocery chain? Rimi's story shows it's possible, but it takes bold moves, smart strategies, and focus on the right things. But here's what I find intriguing. Will Lidl overtake Rimi in the next 5 years? Because Lidl is a massive company with 10,000 stores and they have super low prices. In fact, since Lidl entered the Baltics in 2016, Lidl has rapidly expanded, now operating more than 100 stores in this region. In my opinion, it's a huge growth in a short period of time compared to Rimi, which has opened 314 stores in the Baltics in the last 20 years. So, do you think Lidl will win Rimi? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to be the first for our next deep dive to see how this competition will unfold. Stay sharp, and I see you in the next episode.